Education is the foundation and the priority of our decade, of our presidency of the decade, but it is also the prerequisite for the integration of the Roma minority in Croatia, but in all the other countries where members of the Roma minority are present. The next speaker is Mr. Aleksandar TOLNAUER, the President of the Council for National Minorities. Sisters and brothers from the Roma community, I am really happy to see so many of you here. I would like to welcome you first, Mr. Ledinsky, Mr. Kajtazi, Ms. Nježić, Mr. Sočanac, representatives of the Corps Diplomatique who are present here. I'm really happy to see you here, members of the NGOs and of the city of Zagreb. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm really happy to be able to be here at the 23rd International Steering Committee meeting of the Decade of Roma Inclusion 2005-2015 initiative. I would like to welcome you on behalf of the Council for National Minorities, the umbrella organization protecting the rights of the minorities in Croatia, which includes the members of the parliament who represent the ethnic minorities. I would like to welcome you on behalf of the Council, on behalf of the minority members of parliament, and on my own behalf. There have been many events that touched upon the Roma ethnic minority in Croatia, but we don't have enough time, so I will skip a lot of that, but still I would like to say a few words. In history books, according to history books, the first Roma people came to this area in the 12th century. This is why I think we can say that they are an indigenous community, despite the fact that our constitution does not recognize them as such. But it is important to know that at a meeting of this kind. But because of their way of life, the Roma minority has always lived on the edges of the society, victims of genocide, hate speech, and marginalization. Because of their cultural specificities, they encounter a number of problems that are specific to them, unfortunately, even as we speak. Well, I don't have the right and I don't want to describe an idealized picture of the situation. We have seen many misunderstandings, or even worse, cases of intolerance. And I think that this is the time and this is the place where we should discuss it. Despite the great efforts and despite the great progress achieved, these problems are still present here. Well, I'm not going to list all the problems, but for instance the Škabrnja case and so on. But I'm really happy to be able to say that in the Republic of Croatia, despite the post-war problems, the transition, economic crisis and the recession, we have been able to put together the legal framework that makes it possible to protect and develop minority rights and to ensure the representation of their political interests, and the cultural autonomy model ensures that all the national minorities in Croatia, including the Roma minority, are able to enjoy their full identity in the Republic of Croatia. As early as in 2003, Croatia adopted the national Roma plan and soon afterwards joined the decade and passed the action plan for the decade. The progress is also evident in the fact that through the Council for National Minorities, from 2003 until 2012, the cultural autonomy program for the Roma minority and nothing else has received over 13 million kunas. To make it easier for you, over 1 million euros. The Council for National Minorities has recognized that the specific position of the Roma minority in Croatia merits special attention, and that through the Roma NGOs, their position can be improved. We have to cooperate with Roma NGOs. There are several reasons why we decided to take this course. Roma have always been marginalized. They don't have their own state which would protect their rights, and this makes it more difficult for them. Their position is even more precarious. The specific problems that Roma face in exercising their rights have further motivated our Council to pay special attention to financing such programs in the cultural autonomy area that were put forward by the Roma NGOs. But the diversities within the Roma community have made it more difficult for them to define their own identity and their own culture, and this should not be overlooked. The fact that they speak different languages and the fact that they have mostly oral literature have indicated that efforts should be made to standardize the language and to use it in books, in the media, in everyday communication, and especially in schools, in the educational program, in the curricula. In order to ensure that, the Council has subsidized the publication of the Roma dictionary, books about Roma literature, the Days of Roma Language, and this year we are preparing to fund the establishment of the Roma language chair at the Faculty of Philosophy here in Zagreb. And this should ensure an increase in the publication of books in the Roma language, which will, we believe, change the existing stereotypes of the Roma ethnic community and would also make it evident that the members of the Roma community have many talents, especially in singing and dancing. The analysis of various programs put forward by the Roma NGOs, funded by the Council, have shown that they are getting better in defining their goals and spheres of activity. All those programs are in line with the efforts to respect the cultural identity and ethnic rights. The Roma NGOs and the Council for National Minorities have been in constant contact to define those programs. One of the prerequisites for the exercise of all these rights is for the members of the Roma minority to declare themselves as such in the census. The data based on the 2001 census do not correspond to the actual number of the members of the Roma community in Croatia. According to some assessments, there are about 40,000 Roma living in Croatia, although only 9,460 people declare themselves as Roma in the census. But that is 41% more than the number of people who declared themselves as Roma in the previous census, 1991. We hope that the 2011 census will show the approximate number of correctly number of Roma in Croatia because it is necessary for them to be able to exercise their rights. They can declare that they are members of the Roma community and be proud of it, even though, because of the prejudices that still prevail, there is some repugnance among the general population. However, we have to stress that they have been included in the Constitution as a national minority. They are recognized as such, which is not the case in all the countries. In some countries, they are an ethnic groups. This means that they are one of the 22 national minorities defined as such under the Croatian Constitution. This has improved their position, as evidenced by the 2007 general election, when the first member of the parliament was elected from the Roma ethnic minority. And even today we have Mr. Kajtazi, who has been elected into the parliament by his Roma constituency. Croatia is one of the few countries that have Roma members of parliament. As Mr. Ledinski said at the beginning of his intervention, Romas are represented at the local and regional level through various councils. This has contributed to an increased integration of the Roma minority into the Croatian society, but they have not been assimilated. They are entitled to their full ethnic identity. We also have to stress that this policy pursued by the Republic of Croatia has played a great role in Croatia's road to the EU. We also have to stress that the national minorities and their representatives have contributed to the positive decision of the EU because they have painted a positive picture of their integration in the society, thereby contributing to Croatia's reputation in the eyes of the international community. And finally, I would like to stress, especially in a forum such as this one, that we have to be aware of the fact that the ethnic minority rights are not something that minorities are given in excess of everybody else's rights. Those special rights are not additional rights that would improve their rights in relation to the rights of all the others. They are there to ensure that they have equal treatment in terms of the exercise of their human rights. The participants of this decade meeting and the topics on the agenda will ensure a lively and interesting debate, and I'm sure that we will be able to identify the key topics for the integration of the Roma minority, and that the conclusions, which will be disseminated to the general public and to the scientific community, will improve and ensure the exercise and protection of the human rights of the Roma minority, not only in Croatia but elsewhere. And finally, let me stress once again how happy I am to be able to welcome you all here, and to my brothers and sisters.
Meo presidente Consiglio Palase minoritore ande Republika Croatia, mangev tu ame šukar butihe successo ande decada conjuntipe hem inclusia pal e Roma. Hvala lijepo.
Thank you very much.